Hey friends, how's it going? I hope everyone's doing well. I know for me, I just started a long weekend, so that's pretty awesome. I feel pretty good about that. I hope the same can be said for you. Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary made a really cool video yesterday challenging us to show 10 metal albums. Metal as in if the word metal was a part of the band's name, or a part of the album's name, or as part of a song title on an album. So he wants us to show 10 records. I'm going to show 10 records. Like Cosmic Brian did, I tried avoiding metal bands as much as I could, but I think I could only find 3 non-metal bands that would fit. So that's all right. I'm going to leave a link to Ron's channel and to Brian's channel just for fun in the link in the description of this video. So check them both out. They're both great guys. They make great content and a lot of content. So you'll have lots of people, lots of videos to hang out with if you're bored or if ever you're lonely. So let's get into the records. First up is a great, fantastic Canadian punk rock band from Ontario. This is the Dirty Nil. This is Minimum R&B. This is a compilation record that came out a few years ago that collects 4 or 5 of their earlier 7 inches, I think from 2010 on. Really killer stuff. Super fun, melodic, catchy, hooky punk music. Highly recommended. Excellent, excellent live band. The song that we're talking about here is Little Metal Baby Fist. So if you've never heard these guys, check them out. They had a hit last year with That's What Heaven Feels Like off of their Master Volume album. Also highly recommended. Excellent, excellent stuff. These guys can do no wrong in my eyes. So great up and coming. Well, not up and coming. I guess they've been together for probably over 10, 12 years now. But they haven't hit it as high as I think they can or they should. So check them out. They're Dirty Nil, one of the best Canadian bands going. Next up is another punk rock band. This is their 4th album. This is Circle Jerks with Wonderful. I've talked about the Circle Jerks a few times. I love Keith Morris and all of his projects. This is a pretty polarizing album. I know to most Circle Jerks fans, this is their least good or the one to get last. I dig it. It's definitely not the hardcore, raunchy stuff that they were doing on the first 2 or 3 records, but it's good. It stands on its own, and I really dig it. And I really like the rhythm section of Keith Clark and Xander Schloss on bass and drums. Xander plays bass, is still with the band, so that's pretty cool. I know that they're doing a tour. They were supposed to do a tour, so you'd have 3/4 of these guys on that tour, so that would be a wicked show to see. So yeah, Circle Jerks. The song that we're talking about here is American Heavy Metal Weekend. So yeah, Circle Jerks, wonderful. Next up is a thrash metal band. In fact, let me rearrange these because I've got quite a few thrash bands, so I'm going to talk about them all in a row. So we'll start with thrash bands. So, hopefully you didn't see those. First up, some German thrash, Sodom in the Sign of Evil. This is their 1984 EP, before their first record came out. Fantastic stuff. This is an original copy on Metal Blade, so all it is black vinyl and a cheap little lyric sheet with a bunch of mistaken lyrics, or not mistaken, misspelled lyrics. I guess the German to English translation didn't go very well. But regardless, killer tracks and an essential, in my opinion, early thrash record and early black metal record. If you want to really get the history of those 2 styles of music, this is an essential band that you want to get into. The song that we've got here is Witching Metal. So yeah, Sodom in the Sign of Evil. Check them out. Fantastic band, still going today, and as good as they were, 40 years ago. So check them out. Next thrash band we're going to talk about. This came out in '86. This is the band in question's 2nd album. Of course, we're talking about Onslaught, The Force. Great record. I could have showed this the other day in my yesterday's video about essential genre records. But this is an essential thrash record in my opinion. Very, very reminiscent of Hell Awaits. It came out the following year. So I'm sure that there was a little bit of influence there, but it stands on its own. It's not a ripoff whatsoever, don't get me wrong. It's excellent, excellent stuff. This is a really cool copy on Fringe, an original Canadian press. It's regular black vinyl, but I guess it's got a pretty cool insert with a collage of pictures here and lyrics here. So Onslaught. The song that we're talking about for Onslaught, however, is Metal Forces. Metal Forces. Next up, we've got a record that I've talked about before, but I'll talk about it a million times because it deserves to be on everyone's top of mind at all times. Exodus, Bonded by Blood. This is their first record. This is an original on Banzai, so a Canadian press. One of the greatest thrash records ever made, in my opinion. I could have also, should have shown this one yesterday instead of the Violence record. Not taken away from Violence, but this Exodus record is a must-have for heavy metal in general, I feel. And of course, what we've got here is Metal Command, is the metal song we have. So Exodus, Bonded by Blood. Check them out if you don't know them, and if you do know them, listen to them again. Next up, oh yes, so this next record I'm going to show, I could have shown another record with the same song on it, but I opted to show this one because in the video that I made a few weeks ago, talking about bands who've had multiple singers, I mistakenly stated that I don't have any Anthrax with John Bush, and I completely forgot that I had this record, which is a fun problem to have. This is The Greater of Two Evils. This is a record, the last thing they did with John. It's basically not a compilation, but it's a re-recording session of earlier tracks from the Joey Belladonna and Neil Turbin eras. So it's really cool to hear John Bush's take on them. The guitars are tuned a bit lower. Some of the songs are a bit slower, but they really work. They have that. They're very groovy. They're rendered very groovy, I should say. So they do stand on their own as totally different versions, in my opinion, than the originals, and which make them worth having. I love this record. This is phenomenal stuff. And what we've got is Metal Thrashing Mad. So I could have showed a Fistful of Anthrax that I did show in that video, but I just figured to show this one for fun. It's just on double black, so I won't take it out. Yeah, Anthrax, Greater of Two Evils. Thanks, Jeff, for the killer deal on this, by the way. I got this in a trade with my friend, so yeah, happy to have it. Next up, so those were the thrash records. Now we're getting into non-thrash metal. This next band, I'm not a huge fan of. It's the only record that I own by them. It might be the only record that I ever own by them. I like it a lot, but I don't care for the rest of their stuff as much. You may feel differently. I hope you do, because that's what opinions are for. But this is Manowar. This is Battle Hymns. Their first record from '82. I like Ross the Boss on guitar a lot, which is one of the main reasons I bought it. But it's also very, it's not, I was gonna say easy listening. It's easy listening metal. It's early, so it's not too complex. It doesn't have all the Viking shit that they went into later. They a little bit, but not as much. It's a very enjoyable listen. But the song that we've got here is Metal Daze. So Metal Daze, D-A-Z-E. No insert or anything, just plain black. This is on Liberty. It's an original Canadian press, so it's probably the only record I've got on Liberty. But yeah, anyway. Manowar, Battle Hymns. Next up is a record that Ron showed yesterday, but I needed a 10th record, so I had to pull it. And it is Helloween, Walls of Jericho. This is their first record, of course, from '85. This is an original on Banzai with Kai Hansen singing before Michael Kiske joined the band for Keeper of the Seven Keys, which are Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 and Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2 are, in my opinion, two of the best power metal / speed metal records of all time. This is good stuff too, but those two records to me are untouchable. I don't own copies of them, but someday they're on the top of my want list. But the songs that we've got here, we've actually got two. We've got Metal Invaders and Heavy Metal is the Law. So Helloween, Walls of Jericho. Dig it. So those were my 8 metal song records. Now I'm going to get into my metal album records. So buckle up. This is a record I've shown a few times before. Metallica, Metal Up Your Ass. Metal Up Your Ass. Interestingly, it's also got Metal Militia, and features the 7 tracks that were on the No Life Till Leather compilation, or no, sorry, demo, but also the original Hit the Lights from the Metal Massacre compilation. Christ, that was hard to say. I got jumbled there for a second. But yeah, so we've got Metal Up Your Ass, Metal Militia, and Metal Massacre. So we got a triple. And that's number 9. So this is the last record I'm going to show. I'm super excited to show it because I wanted to show it for so long, and I don't know when else I'd have to when else I would have a chance to talk about it. So it's PIL, Public Image Limited, and this is Metal Box. I'm not sure if you can see that there or not. This record came out originally in '79. It came in a film canister, a round film canister, with 3 12 inches basically in it that ran at 45. So the full record was on 3 45 speed 12-inch records. Very, very minimalist. They were just 3 records with a blank sheet of paper with a few notes on it in the canister. I think there was 60,000 copies in total, and that was it. And forever, that was it. But so a few years ago, this came out. This is the super deluxe edition. I'm sorry for the glare, but I'll get into it because it's really cool. I want to show you. So I'll put it down here, and I'll piece by piece show you what we've got. So it's Metal Box, so that's the name of the album, Metal Box. So just because I want to show off my cool stuff. This is a beautiful book we've got here with lyrics and liner notes and news clippings and just a bunch of cool details and info about the band. We've got here, we've got the hype sticker that came with it originally. I kept because I keep that stuff because I'm a nerd. We've got the download code here. If anyone wants it, you're getting a hell of a deal. I haven't downloaded it, so it's yours for the taking. We've got these cool art prints. This is from one of the singles. This is the original back. So this was the, this came on the back of the box. I just took it off and stuck it in. This is the sheet that would have come in the canister without some of the bonus stuff, but it was very, very basic. And then the album itself, instead of being on 3 12 inches at 45, it's on two 12 inches at 33. So this is Metal Box 1 with the first half of the record. And we've got Metal Box 2, which is the second half of the record. And now this is the cool stuff. So like that's all awesome, and I'm super happy that I have it. And because I've wanted this, before I got this, I wanted it for years. But this is why the box set means so much to me. So this is a bootleg. Well, it's not a bootleg, but for years it was only available as a bootleg. This is live in Manchester in '79, and what it is, it's the first time that PiL had ever performed any of the Metal Box songs live. They were in Manchester doing some kind of late night talk show, like a musical appearance, and I don't know the exact story, but they got talked into doing like a daytime concert, and so they did it. But the drummer that they had playing with them at the time, who wasn't on Metal Box, had never played any of the songs before, so he had just joined the band, so it was his first gig with the band, and it was the rest of the guys' first time playing these songs. So it's incredible. You've got they only play 6 songs, but it takes them about an hour to get through it with all the fuck ups and all the mistakes and having to restart. But it's really, really cool. And as they get into it, as they kind of gel and start grooving, they really play so well together. It's really like listening to Total Improv, and then really it comes together and it turns into this really, really cool song, or well, songs. So really cool live set. It's available as a bootleg separate from the box because the box is pretty pricey, but this is one of the coolest concerts I own that I've ever listened to. So definitely check it out. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube if you don't want to spend the money on it. But then on top of that, we've also got a 4th record, so a 4th LP with just mixes and BBC sessions. So alternate album and mixes to some of the songs off the record, and some BBC sessions. So yeah, fantastic. I'm sorry if that was a bit self-indulgent about the box, but I think this is one of the coolest boxes, and especially because it comes in this heavy tin. But yeah, so those are my 10 records that have metal somehow having to do with them. Just because I always do this, I'll show you what I was playing or what's playing right now, and it's What's This For? The second album by Killing Joke, of course. Legendary English post-punk or whatever you want to call band. Really gloomy, doomy, gothic stuff. I love it. I love these guys. I love this album. Excellent stuff. If you've never heard them before, check them out. Metallica covered The Weight on their Garage Days Revisited EP, which is how I'm sure a lot of people learned about them. That's the first I had ever heard of them as a kid, so I quickly dug into them after the fact and fell in love with them on their own. So Killing Joke, What's This For? Check them out. Have a great weekend, everyone. I might make another video tonight or tomorrow or whatever. If I do, if I don't, it is what it is. But have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves, and be in peace, everyone.